So, Masters, I welcome you all to this session on this amazing book, Dying to Be Me by Anita Moorjani. And today is the part one of this session. And in the last introductory session, we got a glimpse about what this book is about and also on its powerful message, which is to embrace ourselves with authenticity, to live our lives just as the way we are, and to recognize that love is our very essence. So let's dive deep today into the Anita's powerful journey, and let's begin by learning about her childhood. So I'll share my screen with you here. So Anita, she was born in Singapore to Indian parents, and when Anita was 2 years old, then Anita's family, they moved to Hong Kong. And Anita, she also has an elder brother, Anup, who is 5 years elder to Anita. And both Anup and Anita, they attended the British school in Hong Kong, where the medium of instruction was in English. And at home, they used to speak their native language, which was Sindhi, but the country they were living in, which is Hong Kong, mostly Cantonese was spoken. So on the screen, you can see Anita Moorjani with her brother Anup, and on the right, you can see Anita Moorjani with her mother. So Anita's father, he was quite strict, and he made sure that everyone follows the family's rules. And Anita was quite scared and afraid of her father, and she made sure that her path never crossed her father because he was too strict. On the other hand, Anita's mother, she was very loving and she was very compassionate to both Anup and Anita. And so Anita, she was very close to her mother, and Anita was even closer to her brother Anup. And such was their relationship that Anita could share anything and everything under the sun with her brother Anup. And her parents, they had an arranged marriage, and the same was thought about their children, that when Anup and Anita, they will reach a certain age, then a suitable match would be sought for them and they will be then married. So the home setup was such that the women in the family, they were required to be subservient. That is, they were required to conform to the rules, they were required to obey with the rules and to the men in their family. And with such a kind of discipline, with such a kind of strict culture, Anita, she used to feel very torn between the traditional customs that were practiced at her home and the modern, contemporary and vastly different approach towards life which was outside her home. And this conflict, she used to feel that what does she has to follow? Does she has to follow the traditional customs which are a part of her upbringing, or she has to follow the modern contemporary approach which she sees all around her? And this inner conflict, it was further exacerbated when incidents like bullying, they took place in her school. And these incidents of bullying, they were so intense that Anita, she felt rejected, she felt sad and lonely. And Anita, she did not share about these experiences, what she was having in the school with her parents, because her parents, they had already changed Anita's school once, and Anita, she did not wanted that her parents should think her of as a problem. So she pretended that everything is good in the school, that she is adjusting well in the school, but the reality was far from true. And this is what we call as conditioning. That Anita, she was brought up in an environment where it was expected out of her that she needs to obey to the rules, that she needs to be subservient. And what happens in this process is that when the pressure of expectations is so intense, it is so heavy, then your own voice that is in your heart, that your own true self, it starts getting suppressed. One starts suppressing one's own identity, one starts suppressing one's mind, and what follows next is the disconnection from one's true self. And this is exactly what Anita experienced. That slowly and gradually the voice of the outside world, it was so loud that the voice inside her, she started suppressing that voice because she wanted to conform, she wanted to comply with what others expect out of her. And now Anita, she was in her early 20s. So now Anita, she had grown up, and now the pressure, it started building up toward getting her married. And Anita, she did not wanted this at all, for she had her own dreams. She wanted to study further. But, the culture she came from, it was believed that the less educated and younger a woman is, the more suitable and desirable candidate she is for marriage. As her father thought that if she would study further, then this would reduce her chances of getting a suitable match. This would make her more independent. This would make her more career oriented, which was not a acceptable norm in those days. And Anita, she wanted to study further, and her father was no way letting her study further. Anita's father, he wanted Anita to get settled in life now. But Anita, she wanted, deep in her heart, she wanted to study further, which meant that she would have to move away from home, because all the colleges, all the educational institutions that were within the close vicinity of her home, their language of their medium of instruction was in Cantonese. And since Anita, she had studied in English, and for finding a English medium institution for her higher studies, it meant that she would have to move away from home. And her father was in no way letting her move away from home, because it wasn't acceptable norm in those days that a woman before her marriage, she stays away from her home. And so Anita, she gained up all the courage, and she asked her father that, "Father, why are the rules different for women and men?" So Anita, she also had an elder brother, Anup, and of course, she would have felt that the rules are different for Anup and for herself. And to which her father replied that these aren't rules. They are just the way things are, and you should be proud of upholding your cultural values. So her father is explaining to her that we all belong to a society, and there are certain societal norms which everyone needs to follow, and we're also not doing anything different. We're also conforming to the societal norms. And here was Anita. She had her own dreams. She wanted to study graphic designing. She wanted to study photography. She wanted to become a travel photographer, travel and explore new places across the world. And she started having these thoughts that her dreams, they might not see the light of the day, that her dreams might not come to fruition. So she started having these sinking feelings that her dreams might just remain only dreams. And her parents, they meanwhile, they had started looking for a suitable match for Anita. And Anita was introduced to the prospective grooms of her parents, family, family friends and acquaintances. But whatever was happening, it was beyond Anita's comprehension, for she just didn't wanted to get married. But the pressure around her was so much that she had to give in. She had to meet the prospective grooms, and the pressure was also mounting that you select a right man for yourself. And then there was this man whom Anita had met twice for a very brief amount of time. And since the pressure was mounting, so she said that, okay, maybe this is the man whom I want to meet further, to know him better. But she was told that if you would want to meet this man more, then you would have to formalize your relationship. That is, you would have to get engaged to this. Only then you will be allowed to meet this man more. So now Anita, again, she felt pressurized that if she wants to meet this man more, to know him further, she will have to be engaged to him. So, just think about it, that when we go to buy a dress for ourselves, we go to so many shops, we try so many outfits, and then we pick that one outfit. And even after picking that one outfit, we may wear it once or twice, we may not wear it at all, we may just discard it. But here is the societal norm which is telling that you need to spend your whole life with a person without even knowing him. Since the pressure now was intense, so Anita, she had to give in, and she said yes for the engagement. So soon the engagement ceremony followed, and now everyone around her was happy. And Anita also felt that finally she has done something which is expected out of her, that finally she has complied with the norms of the society, and now everyone is happy with her. But as the time it got closer with the wedding, Anita, she started having these thoughts that she is doing something which she does not want. And as these thoughts were coming to her again and again, Anita, she was feeling all the more stressed. She was feeling all the more tensed. And now the wedding date was just around the corner. All the wedding preparations were done, all the arrangements were done, the wedding cards were printed, the wedding gifts were brought, and everyone had started pouring in at Anita's place, all her relatives, for the wedding. And now Anita had this realization that she just cannot go ahead with this wedding. And Anita, she started having these thoughts that now she cannot go ahead with the wedding, which means that she would be disappointing and hurting her own parents, her future husband, her in-laws, and everyone around, all the guests that were there to attend the wedding. And she started thinking that why do I continue to disappoint others? That why do I fall short of their expectations? Anita started thinking that why is getting married getting so difficult for me? That what's wrong with me? Others are doing it so easily, that people are getting married, they are getting engaged all the time, happily, excitedly, including my own friends. But why am I struggling so much with this idea? So Anita was juggling with so much of thoughts. And, again, just think that at a home, when all the wedding preparations are done, when the wedding guests are also there to attend your wedding, and you have this thought that you just cannot go ahead with the marriage. It needs so much of strength, it needs so much of courage from within to listen to that faint voice within you which is telling you that you cannot go ahead with the wedding because this is not what you want. And with these thoughts, Anita, she started feeling powerless. She started feeling hopeless and worthless. And she started accepting that she could never be the person which others expect her to be. Because she knew that she could never fit into the traditional mold that is expected out of her, because everything that she had been doing up until now, whether it was the way she carried herself, the way she dressed herself, her eating habits, she had all faked. She had all, it was just an act in order to please her prospective groom, in order to impress her future in-laws, so that she fulfills their expectations, which is that Anita should dress a certain way, that Anita should act a certain way, she should carry herself in a certain way. And this was getting too much for Anita to carry with this further. And now she just didn't have the energy to fake it more, and she got whatever strength was left within her. She came to her mother and she burst into tears, and she said to her mother that, "Mom, I am so sorry. I just can't do it. I am not ready. I have dreams. I want to travel the world. I want to do different things." So this was the first time that Anita let her deepest desire of what she actually wants to do with her mother, and she started crying. And Anita's mother, she lovingly said to her that, "We support your decision." And Anita's mother, she even apologized for not recognizing her fears earlier. And with this, Anita, she felt so much relieved. Because this was the first time she let herself, her deepest desire, in front of her mother. And then she also spoke about her feelings with her brother Anoop, and her brother Anoop also lovingly shared with Anita that you don't have to struggle with your emotions alone, that I am with you. So Anita, now she felt relieved, for she had the support of her mother and her brother. So, just think of it that in these moments of hopelessness, in these moments when one feels worthless, just a little hand of love, a little hand of support, it awakens so much of strength and so much of courage from within. And Anita, she was relieved to have the support of her mother and her brother. But other than her immediate family, whether it was her relatives, whether it was her community members, or the guests that had arrived at Anita's place for the wedding, they didn't take this news well at all. And they tried to convince Anita as best as they could that she should not break her impending wedding. And they also threatened her that if you break your wedding, then this would lead to serious consequences, that your image would be tarnished forever, that no one in the family in the future would let their son near you. And these harsh words, they made Anita all the more shattered from inside. And she was feeling as if she had done a great blunder in her life by breaking her own engagement. That, she started thinking that she was not domesticated enough, that she wasn't homely enough to conform to these rules. And she started regretting everything about herself, about her actions of not going forward with the wedding. And she started apologizing to everyone that I am sorry I caused you hurt of not going ahead with the wedding. And then Anita, after some time, she realized that why does she needs to apologize? That what is she doing? That she just chose to listen to her own heart. And by listening to her own heart, to listening to what she truly desires, why does she needs to apologize to others for just being herself? And she didn't have any courage, and she didn't wanted to face all the guests that had arrived at her home, and she needed some time with herself. She needed time to deal with the emotions. So she decided to go to India and spend some time with her old friends, and for a few days Anita was gone to India. And now, after some days, Anita was back in Hong Kong, but she still was not in the best of herself, and so she diverted her attention towards developing her career. And she started finding a job, and she soon landed up with the job in sales and distribution. And this got her excited because this job also entailed travel. And traveling was something which Anita loved. And Anita was very excited to start this new chapter in her life. And she, with joy, with excitement, she shared this news of getting a job with her father. And although her father, he was happy with Anita getting a job, but at the same time, Anita's father, he warned Anita that you should see this job only as a means to pass time until you find a husband. That is, you shouldn't get too absorbed and too focused in developing your career that you completely forget about getting married. That shouldn't happen. So here, Anita's father, though he is on the surface level happy with Anita getting a job, but at the same time he is also reflecting a limiting belief, which is that a woman's primary role is to stay at home. It is to look after the family and not be career oriented. So, some years they passed like this, and her parents, they continued with their efforts to find a suitable match for Anita. But, they realized that their efforts, they were not bringing any results to them. It was getting difficult to find the right match for Anita, because the word had already spread in the community of Anita being a very strong, opinionated and a rebellious woman, just for the simple reason that she had broken her engagement, and because of which her parents, they were not able to find a match for Anita. But despite of this, Anita's parents, they continued with their effort to find a suitable partner for her, thinking that when Anita meets the right match, then she would change for that person. So again, still the thinking of her parents is that when Anita, she finds the right match, then she would change for that person. She would be more homely, she would become obedient and more domesticated. And meanwhile, Anita's career took off well. She was traveling to new places. She was enjoying her newfound freedom and independence. But, that nagging feeling, it was always with her at the back of her mind, that she was inadequate in some way. A feeling that she had failed of not achieving and meeting the standards that were expected out of her. She was living with this feeling that she was somehow flawed, that there's something wrong with her. And then in late 1992, when Anita was 33 years old, then quite unexpectedly, through a common friend, Anita, she met a guy named Anita Moorjani, and Danny was charming, supportive and understanding, and there was instant connection they both of them felt when they met for the first time. And these qualities of being understanding, of being supportive, were the qualities that Anita deeply admired. And in the company of Danny, Anita felt like she had never felt before. There was this sense of acceptance within her, and this feeling of acceptance, it was so new and refreshing for Anita. And Danny too, he always wanted to marry a person who had a mind of her own. And Danny was genuinely interested in Anita for who she is. Danny did not have any expectations that Anita should change in some way, that Anita should be like this or that. No. Danny loved Anita just the way she is. And so they felt that they're perfect for each other, and they both decided to get married. So joy was flowing all around Anita, and Anita, she was in a place where she hadn't been ever before, and she wanted to marry Danny, not from a place of fear, not from any pressure, but only and only from a place of love. For her heart wanted only Danny for herself, and this feeling was so beautiful for Anita. So in Anita's journey, finally came a moment where love, acceptance and alignment, they all came together. So, this is also a reminder for all of us that we should always stay true to ourselves, that we should embrace our authenticity, even in times which are uncertain, even when the times are challenging, because when the right time comes, the scattered pieces which are making no sense, they will fall into their own place when we least expect them. So on this joyful note, Masters, with Anita's happiness, we carry this happiness within our heart. I will end today's session with the lines that the only obligation we have in our lives is to be true to ourselves. So I look forward to meeting you all in the next session, where we will explore what life had in store for Anita. For this was just the beginning of Anita's journey, and what came next was even more profound and powerful. So thank you so much, Masters, for joining in for today's session. And I now ask you that you please switch on your cameras and you please share your experiences, share anything that you may want, because the more we express, the more we embrace ourselves just the way we are. So this platform is all yours, Masters, now.
It's a beautiful story, and this kind of struggle, we see in a lot of, not now, but I'm talking about even 12 years ago, 13 years ago. Among the families, the culture was so important, right? And especially the girls had to follow it. Certain age, got to be married. certain age you got to have children, right? The pressure to have children, yeah,
Absolutely.
everything was there. And it doesn't, they don't even ask the daughter, do you really want to get married? Or the boys say openly, I don't want to get married now, right? And that is, even though that is, their parents don't like it, they accept it, right? But not the girls. They're not allowed to say that. I don't want to get married, or I don't, uh, I want to study, I want to go abroad and study. All those things was not done. It is a no area. Things have changed in India considerably. Unbelievably, it has changed. Okay, right? Which is a good thing. And, even within my own family, you know, I was not allowed to study what I wanted. I came here and studied, clinical counseling psychology and all in this country, but I was not allowed to study psychology in India, even though I had a place in Madras University. They gave me a place, but they said, no, you can't leave home and go all that way, right? But my dream was to study psychology and do counseling, which my husband fulfilled it. He said, children are in school, you have the time on your home, you have to study what you want to study, you want to do what you want to do. And I used to travel to London at least 3 times a week uh, to do the course and the course homework and all. But my husband was brilliant. He said, you do what you have to do, I will take care of the rest. Right? So through him, through my husband, I was able to fulfill my dream actually. That is me and my story.
Wow, Malati ji, that's such a beautiful sharing that you did. Very profound and very beautiful, Malati ji. And I'm so happy that you had a husband who was so supportive, who let you fulfill your dreams. Because, when we are born, we are always carrying that certain dream to fulfill. We all have certain aspirations within ourselves which we need to fulfill. But
Yeah.
when we are not allowed to fulfill them because of the so-called the norms of the society, then it limits us so much, that we need to just live within the shell, and nothing is more devastating than limiting your own self.
That's right.
Hi, very good evening. You can see me now?
Yes,
Yeah,
we
I just want to appreciate and say I really love the session this evening. It's like a breath of fresh air. And there's a message that I'd like to share with you and all the participants. And this is also a part of recording, so all those who listen to it in the future may learn a thing or two. Is with regards to choosing your partner, okay, as well as choosing what you invest in, or it can make you or it can break you. Choosing our spouse and choosing the right property or the right investment can really take us to the heavens or bring us below the earth. So with all this, the how careful we are and how we can listen to the inner voice which will prompt us to proceed or to take 25 steps behind. Listen to the inner voice, and if we choose to ignore the inner voice, we are not it is not very helpful to cry and torment and complain and whine about it, because you've caused terrible problems for yourself. Thank you. Okay, I'll see you. Thank you. Cheers.
Thank you so much, Rita ji, for sharing this beautiful message that we always need to listen to our own voice and not feel pressurized by what others expect us to do, because at the end of the day we are answerable to our own selves and not to anyone else. So thank you. Yes, Usha ji, please go ahead.
Hey Ruchi, pleasure meeting you in the session today, and it was a wonderful meditation, a very beautiful meditation. I have a question to ask. It is rather two questions. When we spiritually grow in ourselves, we are unable to fit in, right? We are unable to fit into the group that we were before, and most of the times we are left alone, lonely. Yeah. So how are you guys managing that? That is one part.
Okay, so
And
let's stick with this
yeah,
question. I'll
yeah.
answer this and then we come to the next question. So your question is, when we put on our energies to be more spiritual, to evolve in our own soul's journey, then we feel loneliness and we see that we don't fit in to the groups which we were a part of it before.
Exactly. Yeah.
So, the very simple answer to this, Ushaji, is that when we have time with ourselves, then that is not loneliness. It's, that feeling, it starts coming from your heart that you are with yourself. So when you are with yourself, you are not lonely at all. And the spiritual people, they are known to be not fitting into the groups which don't align with your energies. So as you progress more onto the journey, your energy would start telling to you that the people you are meeting, they are draining away your energy, and you need to be the people which elevate your energy, which uplift you, which positively inspire you. So that is a natural progression, I will say, that you are feeling in this journey, and you should listen to your own voice, and you are never alone in this journey because you yourself are with you. So just enjoy this journey and just be with the people whom you like to be, and never think of fitting into anyone, because that will again, start making you disconnect. You have put in so much of effort to reconnect with yourself, and now when you try to fit in, then you are again, making yourself far. Why do you need to do that? Don't try to fit in with anyone. Just be the way you
Beautiful,
are.
beautiful, Ruchi. Thank you so much. What you said, right? You are with yourself, and where is the loneliness? Perfect. And one more thing I wanted to clarify. The more I meditate, there is also the feeling of compassion, right, which is getting expanded, and I could feel the emotions of others and take it into myself, right? And it feels so heavy, and I am unable to express. And what is this, and how do we manage this part of compassion which is unexpressible to anybody? So any tips there would also help.
Okay, so firstly, I would say that what you feel, compassion, is such a blissful feeling. We all want to feel compassion, it's a virtue. And then with compassion, you're also overly being sympathetic towards their emotions, towards their life's journey. So, here a little bit of we need to step in, that we also simultaneously need to learn about being detached. So detachment is what needs to be, maybe a little more refined, that though we empathize with them, we listen to them and we understand the problems or the challenges or the emotions that they might be going through. We listen to them, we provide any guidance that we could do from our own side. But once we have done that, we need to detach ourselves because we have done our part, right? And if we keep on lingering with them furthermore, then we are draining of our own energy, which we don't want to do.
Thank you very much. Thanks, Ruchi. Thanks a lot.
Thank you, Shaji, for these wonderful questions. Thank you. Yes, Madhavi ji, please go ahead.
Hi, Ruchi ji. It's a wonderful, wonderful session, the meditation also. And you look very gorgeous, really. And especially as you know that the title of the book is really, really fascinating. That is Dying to Be Me. This is what I keep on observing myself to be me. And when you took the session about how the families have been, it's the same with me too. Like my family needs to fight with all the relatives to make me study, you know. And I was the first, I think, woman in my whole family to come out of the country. So I was like kind of a, I don't know what to say, but it was. But my dad was not there. The dad was the one who gave me these wings, I feel, to see and explore and to have a different perception of life. Yeah, this is, he struggled to convince the family. He struggled saying that the woman is not just meant for getting married and then have children and everything. Let her study, let her get the wings and fly and see the world with a different perspective. Really, that thought of my dad's, he was not there. It was very young actually, but that thought made my mom to be so strong to give me whatever I want actually. So she stood like a father, and then yeah, that was really beautiful how you was saying about this story, and I was thinking about myself in that story actually, dying to be me. Like, yeah, that's a very beautiful way that how you're taking this book, and for me, and I wanted to say a word to Usha also. Yeah, Usha, I can understand your feeling that in the spirituality how it came, because as I said, that my whole family is a non-vegetarian, and I was having compassion to these animals, and I became a vegetarian automatically because of that love, and that, you know, the pets gives us so much courage, love, and unconditional thing. I wouldn't eat non-vegetarian, so I was the only one who left out in the whole family, because for us, non-vegetarian is like whenever you have a celebration, then there is a big non-vegetarian, you know, like a big fat hen or big fat, the you know, the meat or anything. That was the celebration. But for me, I was so left out in the whole family, and it was my family. It's not like I'm talking about my friends or anybody else out of the family, but within my own family. But my family has encouraged me to be what I want to be. That really, because they have to cook again separately to me, and then I'm like I was with the family, but I was away from the family. And I can imagine how, Usha, you're going through. This is how I think we have to face it. And people who encourage us are really more big masters, I would say, rather than we became spiritual. I felt like that. Being the non-vegetarian, they pushed me to be a vegetarian, or I mean, that was a very beauty how we come across the people and how we evolve ourselves. And today I don't be those time I used to feel very bad because, oh my God, why do I'm going against them? But now today I understood the whole journey. So I think, Usha, you can understand how this journey all about. I think I'm looking forward, Ruchi, for the next sessions. It's very beautiful. And I could correlate with my story as well. And by the way, you look really gorgeous. Thank you. Oh.
Thank you so much for the compliment and also for the profound sharing that you did, Madhaviji, because the whole purpose of having these sessions is to let your repressed emotions or whatever you're holding them back, it is to let all of them out, because only when you express them, then only you will be able to be in awareness of what is going with you, and you will start accepting it. And once you start accepting it, only then you can make the next step forward. So, masters, with this, I have a few questions, and I would also love to hear from people who haven't expressed themselves so far. So, I would like to know first is that when was the time you chose to listen to your own heart? I know some of you have expressed that to us. So, when was the time when you listened to your own heart and not listen to what everyone around you is saying? So, would anyone like to express that?
Ruchi, I would express myself because it took me more than 40 years to listen to myself. You're absolutely true that I was also, even though the family was encouraging me doing the things, but listening to my own heart It took ages, and after losing mom only, I realized, what am I? Really, that was really shaking for me. The day when I need to cross the borders and when I need to see her the last time, so that made me realize what I have, what I could do, what I had actually. All these years, I was just listening to the whole society, to the family, and doing everything what others need or match to the family needs or whatever it is. So, but listening to the heart came only by losing her, I think. Yeah, but at least this is what Ram always says, that Madhvi, that was the reason why mom has chosen you this path, and she gave you this one. Now you cherish it instead of you know thinking about her, but she gave you this path to understand yourself and to explore yourself, not to lose herself. So that word I always keep remembering what Ram said one day. So thank you so much for asking this question. It's wonderful.
Yes, Madhaviji, and I would just like to say, that even if your mom, she has gone into the higher dimensions, still you are so very connected with her, and what's connecting you with her is love. That it is love and
True,
pure and unconditional love that you have with your mom, which makes this bond, which makes,
true,
the emotions that come to you even when you speak about her. So, this is what is pure, unconditional love, and
true,
this is only love which will make the bond between your loved ones eternal.
true.
Yes,
Yes, that's absolutely true. But realizing myself who I am was
yes,
that took a long way.
yes.
True. Thank you so much for asking this question. It's so wonderful.
Thank you, Madhaviji. So I can see first on my screen M.
Hey, this is Mridula. How are
Hi,
you?
Mridulaji. Good, I'm good.
Yeah, I listening to everyone today. Yeah, the time, Anita Moorjani is actually only 5 years older than me, so we come from the same. But like Madhavi said, my mom got arranged marriage when she's 16. She had me when she was 18. So coming up from that culturally, I think, and then they moved here to the United States. I was 6. And being from that culture and we were the only family in this small town in in rural area. My dad was a physician there. So they were very protective of us. They were worried about outside influences. And I was sent to India for my medical school, hoping that I would find someone, but I didn't fit there when I went. I went when I was 18. And there were many proposals, many, guys came forward, and I did fall in love. But we have an intuition, a very strong intuition. And somehow, even though my parents came from that closed cultural background, they encouraged my feeling, my intuition. So, and when there was a man of different faith that approached me, we were totally in love. But one of the things those days, this was in the 80s, and he was the only person, I think, in the whole India who wanted to stay in India. I went against my wishes there, and I told him I cannot stay here. And he didn't want to leave there. So I'm like, I can't believe that of all the people in this country, and especially in this college and other people that want to be with me, mainly to come back to the US with me, I meet the one person that doesn't want to do that. He wanted to elope, he wanted to do this and that. He even brought his friend one night. He said, let's go. And I'm like, I can't do it. I can't do it. I love you, but I can't do it. And it was very sad, but my own feeling, I couldn't imagine being there most of my life. I didn't grow up there. My home was where I grew up, and I wanted to come back. And actually, my uncle asked my mother, didn't you tell her that she can't, be with someone outside of her religion? And my mom said, no, we didn't tell her anything. So she was free to choose whoever. We didn't know we had to tell her, don't be with this person, don't be with that person. And when I came, now I don't know where I fit. It took me many years. I did meet people here, and I don't know, over the years, I never connected. I listened to my intuition. But one of the great things is my parents never forced me. My dad would get mad. He said, "We'll tie you up and get you married like they do in India." But they never did that, and they let me be. I never got married. I don't have children, but I'm okay. People ask me, you look like, I still look good at this age. I'm 61. So imagine in my 20s. So I mean, they're like, "What happened to you? You must have had so many." True, I did. I had a lot of, there were a lot, and probably good ones. But something in me told me, and what's really strange to me is that I don't feel like I lost out. I don't feel any regret. I don't know where the time went, actually. And my job is very fulfilling. I actually now time off with my health, but I don't know where the time went. I mean, one of the things is my job is full of service. So, and I'm in meditation groups. Some people ask me, I wanted children. I did, but I don't regret that either. Something in me changed, that this is the life I must have chosen and my soul journey with no attachments, because nothing seemed correct for me. Nothing seemed right. And marriage, husband, and children are attachments. We come back again with those, apparently. I learned through these meditation groups all these things. All these years, I'm wondering, is it something wrong that I don't feel regret? I don't feel lack. I don't feel loss, and I'm fine. Now I'm 61, I worry, if I get sick. But when I had my knee surgery, a friend showed up. For 3 weeks, she stayed with me. So the universe brings, I don't know, naturally somebody came into my life, even though family was not nearby. So I'm listening to even Anita, having all those. I'm sure she had the strength to listen to the inner, but sometimes my own parents were so good. No matter what closed culture they grew up in, and they didn't force anything on me. And though my mom has 5 siblings, 5 brothers, my dad had 2. They actually shut that door with them for me to live this life. So I feel a blessing. They're both gone now, but I feel a blessing that they gave me. They, for many years, I used to be mad at them, because they sent me to India. They want me to do this. They want me to do this. But in a way, I was born to them for this reason. I realize as I'm getting older to be who I am and to be the person or the soul journey that I created for myself. So, yeah, it's a beautiful topic today, Ruchi. Just, I wanted to hear everyone before I started sharing. So, thank you.
Yeah, thank you so much, Mridulaji, for sharing, for pouring your heart out. Whatever we share, the deepest things that we have inside our heart, it takes a lot of courage, and to share them unabashedly, just the way you did, it is so applaudable, Mridulaji. And when you say that you have lived such a fulfilling life with no regrets, so this is what we all aspire to, live such life that one day when we look back upon the way we have lived our lives, we shouldn't hold any regrets that if we could have done this, then we could have been something different. So I just loved the way you shared that you have always listened to your own selves, and it's indeed a blessing to have parents who supported you even by going against the community and the other family members. You're always there with you with the decision you took. And This is indeed a blessing.
Yes, now since I have the freedom to choose my mom passed away when she's 78, my dad was 82. I feel I have maybe 20 years to do whatever it is I need to do. There's an urgency now. I wrote a blog in one of the groups here that, when you turn 60, you don't have this urgency before 60. It's so weird. I lived through all the years, right? 40, I didn't feel it. 50, even, I didn't feel it. But 60, I feel like, what do I need to do now? Since I don't have husband, I don't have children, what can I do before I leave this planet? So that sense, whatever it is, I don't know yet. I mean, I have some ideas, whatever it is, but I know whatever I do from now on, it'll be like the past 60 years. Really, no regrets and no feeling lack of.
Absolutely. Anna ji.
Yeah. Hi, Rucha. It's so nice to have you back.
Yes,
I
so
was
good to
there
see
for
you.
I was there for your autobiography of a
I
yogi and
know.
thoughtfully, and it's so great to have you back. Yeah, I wanted to say that I found myself just a couple of years back. I'm in my 50s, and it's so surprising. It's so beautiful, to be aware of who you are, and be your true love. And because I think I've lived a life where I've been pleasing others and I've lived for others and just giving, giving, giving. I didn't know what it was to receive. But it's so liberating to know yourself, to become aware of who you are and why you behave the way you behave. And I think healing has got me to this place, and it feels so beautiful. And life feels really good when you know who you are. You are aligned to your authentic self. And from that place, when you look at the world, it's so beautiful. You have just love to give, and you're not being there to validate anybody or receive validation from anybody. So you're just being you, and that is the best place to be. So I'm so happy to have reached here, at least now. So life is beautiful. Thank you so much.
Wow, so happy to hear this from you, Anna ji. So happy. And such beautiful the way you shared is that, that the greatest blessing in the world is to be true to yourself. Because when you work from your authentic self, then there's no place for blame game, no judgment, no, nothing. It's just you, and you just go with the flow of life effortlessly. When we are aligned to our own selves, then everything fall into its place in its own divine timing, and we also don't feel that rush from within because we trust in this way the life is flowing. So thank you
Yes.
so much, Anna ji.
Thank you. Thank you.
So, and I have one more question, masters, to ask, so that we all reflect upon the way we are living. Is that when was the time when you felt yourself supported by somebody, when there was none to look for? Just like Anita's life, Anita found that helping hand in her mother, in her brother, when she didn't wanted to go ahead with the marriage, and just with a little bit of support, she found that strength from inside. So could you reflect upon your own lives and share that when was the time when somebody gave you that helping hand to you, or also the other way around? Or you gave that helping hand to somebody who was in much need of that help. So just maybe take a moment to reflect upon it, and then we listen to these profound experiences. Yes,
Speak.
please go ahead, Anaji.
Yeah, I don't know. I have received a lot of help from people. I have because I lived a very unconscious life before I really came to know myself. So I think I have would without all these people that came into my life at the right moment, I would have fallen into deep trouble. But I think everywhere there was the universe supporting me through somebody or the other. Now when I look back, I think how have I reached here? How have I'm in one piece and nothing has gone wrong, and it was the universe always had my back. I had to go through all that because there were so many beautiful lessons to learn. That time I didn't think they were good lessons, but now on hindsight, I feel I had to elevate to this level just because of those, whatever I went through, those incidences. So yes, so many people to be grateful to, who came into my life and helped me. I can't even remember some people's name, but there was somebody or the other at every stage of my life to be with me. And I was always a giving person, and I've always given, help people. I've helped so many people. So it's been a beautiful mix of give and take. But now I give and I take as well. Initially in life I was just giving, and I didn't know what taking, I mean receiving was. But now it's balanced. Yeah, so that's the difference.